Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. This video is a beginner's first guitar lesson. I've been playing guitar for about 20 years and I've been teaching private guitar lessons since 2012. Initially I picked up the guitar because I was looking for a new way of expressing myself through songwriting, and I was inspired by a lot of my favorite artists and bands at the time. Initially I was self-taught on guitar, so there was a lot of trial and error during my process of learning how to play. Hopefully this video will save you some time and will save you some trial and error. This video won't cover how to tune your guitar. I have another video in my channel that covers the basics of how to tune your guitar. If you don't know how to tune your guitar, please check that video out. Alright, so let's zoom in and get started. Okay, so here we are. Let's start by talking about the basic anatomy of the guitar. Some of the parts of the guitar in this video that I'm going to cover are specific to the acoustic guitar. So we have three main parts of the guitar. This part down here, this entire part, is called the body. This here is called the neck. And up here, we have the headstock. To help you remember the main parts of the guitar, you can think about a person, right? A person has a body, a neck, and a head. And so that could be a helpful little trick to just help you remember the three main parts. Within those three main parts, we have a few more details that I want to cover. So in the body, right here we have what's called the upper bout. This is called the waist right in here, and this is called the lower bout. This side here is called the top. If we flip the guitar around, this is called the back. On acoustic guitars, usually you have an opening here, which is called the sound hole. On this guitar here, it's got two small sound holes here, and they're kind of decorative. Over here, this entire piece here is called the bridge. On a lot of acoustic guitars, you'll have bridge pins down here. This piece here is called a pick guard, and it's literally just to protect the guitar from when you're strumming with a pick from scraping on it or scratching the guitar. A lot of acoustic guitars will have a bolt down here to hook your guitar strap onto. Some guitars will have another bolt right here, and a lot of modern guitars will have that, so you can strap the other side of your guitar strap onto it. Most acoustic guitars will have that guitar strap bolt down here, and then you loop the other side of the guitar strap right in here in this space. Let's talk about the neck. So this top part here is called the fingerboard or the fretboard, and this is where we press down on the strings, right? We have 6 strings here, and when we press down on those strings in different places, we create different pitches or different notes. On the fretboard, we have these metal wires here. Okay, they go the entire length of the fretboard, and those are called fret wires. And those fret wires delineate the different frets on the guitar. So over here in this space, we have fret 1, this space is fret 2, this is fret 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it just keeps going for however long your neck is. Then we have these dots here. There's these small black dots here, okay? On this side of the fretboard, wherever those dots are, there will also be some kind of dot or decorative element, and those will usually be on fret 3, 5, 7, 9, and 12. On some guitars, when you hit fret 12, there will be 2 dots. On this guitar here, it's got 1. It's just got 1 dot for fret 3, fret 5, fret 7, fret 9, and fret 12. When you hit fret 12, then the pattern starts over. Like I mentioned, we have the strings, right? And the strings, all 6 strings pass through this piece here, which is called the nut. Okay? The nut will have a little slot for one for each string to pass through. Finally, we have the headstock up here. So the headstock is where your strings, after they pass through the nut, each string connects to a tuning peg here. Okay? There's one for each string. And we also have 6 tuning keys, one for each string. So that's the basic anatomy of a guitar. There's a lot of variations within that. For example, like electric guitars, they'll have different pickups on the guitar. They'll have pickup selectors, volume and tone knobs. And like I said, a lot of acoustics will also have a big sound hole right here. Just try to remember the main big parts of the guitar. Okay, the most important things are remembering the body, the neck, the head, the fret wires and the frets. And if you can remember those position markers, those will be really helpful for you because I think of those as landmarks. It's just helping you to find your place on the guitar neck faster and easier. It's also good to remember where the bridge is down here on the body. That's a good reference point. And of course, you want to remember the headstock, and on the headstock, there are these tuning keys, right? These are what we turn to tune each string. Okay, let's cover posture and how to hold a guitar. So what you don't want to do is have the guitar kind of facing out like this. When I teach private students, a lot of times students will do that because they're trying to have a better angle at seeing the fretboard while they're fretting notes. But you really want to try to avoid doing this. The best way to hold a guitar is to have your feet planted firmly on the ground, okay, and then hug the guitar into your torso like that, right? You have this nice curve down here, and that just sort of is perfectly curved so that it fits on your right leg. So you sit the guitar right there on your right leg, and then you take your right arm, okay, and you just kind of drape it over this part of the guitar, just nice and relaxed, okay? Then, super important, you want both hands and wrists and arms to be very relaxed, and you want your shoulders to be relaxed as possible, okay? Staying relaxed will make it more comfortable and easy to play, and it'll actually allow you to play much faster. Once you have that basic setup down, then you want to kind of just turn the guitar out a little bit on an angle. You also, when you're holding notes down, which we'll cover in a little bit later in this video, you want your guitar a little bit on an angle so that your left elbow is a little bit below your left wrist when you're holding notes down. Now let's cover how to hold a pick. So there's many different thicknesses of picks. Okay, so what I'm using here is a medium thickness pick, 60 millimeter pick. There are really thin picks, which are kind of flimsy, and those are good for playing chords. And then there are other picks that are much thicker than this one here, and the thicker picks are really good for lead guitar playing. I would suggest, if you're just starting out, buy some 60 millimeter medium thickness picks. These 60 millimeter medium picks are really versatile. So they're great for strumming chords and great for picking melodies and riffs too. So to hold a pick, you're gonna take the pick, hold it with your left hand, and you're gonna place the pick between your right index finger and your thumb. So you're just gonna bend the knuckle of your index finger, and then you're gonna place the pick just like this on the side of your knuckle and grip it with your thumb. The guitar pick has two sides, this big rounded edge here, and then it has this pointed side. So you want the pointed side pointing to your left, just like this. Okay, so I'm going to do it one more time. Grab the pick with your left hand and have the pointed side of the pick pointing to your left. Then take your thumb, bend your index finger, and then place the pick right there on the side of your index finger. Grip it with your thumb, just like this. Okay, so there's different ways to hold the pick, but this is what I recommend for beginners. This is a really solid grip. It's really difficult actually to drop the pick if you're holding it like this. And also, you don't need to put a ton of pressure. You don't need to really grip it really hard. Just grip it enough so that you don't drop it when you're strumming. Okay, so now I think we're ready to learn our first chord. Before we do that, really quick, I want to just cover the string numbers. The thinnest string closest to the ground is string number 1. The next one is string 2, string 3, string 4, string 5, and string 6. The thinnest string is string 1, and the thickest string closest to the ceiling is string 6. Okay? Now in my tuning video that I mentioned earlier, I cover the names of the strings, the letter names, as well as the numbers. For this video, I just want to keep it simple, and we'll just use the numbers. So what we're going to do, we're going to play our first chord. This chord is called E minor, and it's a really nice first chord to learn because it uses a lot of open strings. And what that means is there are several strings that you strum, but you don't actually press down on any string, so you have these open resonant strings. So it sounds nice and full. And it only requires 2 fingers in your left hand, so it's pretty easy to play. So to play the E minor chord, you're going to take your index finger of your left hand. You're going to put that down on the 2nd fret of string number 5. Okay, so this is the note that you should hear. Okay, and then you're going to take your middle finger, the next finger, and put it on the next string, which is string number 4. And you're going to put it down also on the 2nd fret. So you're pressing down on 2 strings with 2 fingers, your index finger and your middle finger. And like I said, you're going to be playing a bunch of open strings. So string 1, 2, 3, and 6 are going to be open. So you're just going to strum them as is. Okay. That's the E minor chord. Okay, so one little tip here is you want to try to, as best as you can, press down on the frets right behind the fret wire. My middle finger is right behind the fret wire. That will help you to get a more clear sound from each string, and it actually requires less effort in your left hand. Okay, so that's what it should sound like. That's the E minor chord. So to practice this chord, just take your hand off of the guitar and then try to form the chord as quickly as you can, okay? Take it away. You can strum it again. Take your hand away. Bring it back. Strum it. Take your hand away. Okay? I'm going to cover it one more time. Take your index finger, place it on the 2nd fret of string number 5. Take your middle finger and place it on the 2nd fret of string number 4. Then you want to strum all 6 strings. Okay, and that's what it should sound like. That's E minor. Another little tip is while you're holding the chord down, you can strum 1 string at a time with your right hand. And then that allows you to hear if there's any strings that are buzzing or are muted. So for example, you just hold the chord down. You can hear every string was ringing out really clear, and that's kind of the sound that you want to go for. It's going to take you a little bit of time to be able to do that. I don't expect anyone to be able to just straight away play a really clean E minor chord. If you can, then you're way ahead of the game. So what you want to do, like I said, just find the chord as quickly as you can, strum it, and then take your hand away. What you're doing with this little exercise by, forming the chord, you actually don't even need to strum it if you don't want to. Like if you're just kind of hanging out, watching TV or something with your friends or your family, and you just want to practice the chord shapes, you could just kind of hang out like this and you don't have to make any sound, but you're still practicing. And what you're doing is you're developing muscle memory in your left hand and your fretting hand, right? Just practice like this. This is a totally valuable and acceptable form of practice. It's actually a great way to get some extra practice in, right? And then of course, you also need to practice by strumming, right? Because you need to make sure that your strings are ringing out nice and clear. Okay, so that's the E minor chord. Congratulations on your first guitar lesson. Here are a couple of closing tips. Consistency is really helpful with learning any instrument. So just commit yourself to maybe practicing about 5 minutes a day minimum. If you just commit to playing for 5 minutes, a lot of times that'll turn into 10 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour or a few hours. You just need to get over that first initial barrier of picking the instrument up and just playing something or practicing something. You'll find that sometimes you just pick up the guitar and then it's really hard to put it down, and suddenly a few hours has gone by and you're not even sure how that even happened. You just kind of find a zone, and if you're having fun, time just sort of flies. You need to develop strength and flexibility in your fretting hand especially, and that comes with time and with practice. And eventually you'll also develop calluses on your fingertips of your fretting hand, and that'll make the process of playing so much easier. If you like this video, I have a free 1-hour guitar basics course. I'll put a link to that in the video description here, and you could check it out if you like. That's the end of my beginner's first guitar lesson video. I hope that it's been helpful for you to kickstart your playing. If you like this video, please click over here to check out my latest video. I'll be creating more videos on this channel, so if you have requests for videos that you'd like to see me cover, please leave a comment down below. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more guitar-related videos. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.